So I left social media for like 2 years, came back and started a YouTube channel. Hey y'all, welcome back to my videos. If this is your first time stumbling upon my channel, my name is Jovahana. Welcome. I'm so happy you are here. So by now you can tell by the title of this video, it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be my typical vlog format. I'm going to be sitting down and talking with everyone about my journey with social media burnout, my experience with leaving social media for like 2 years and not posting much, following a situation right after graduation from college that kind of prompted me to rethink how I interact online and how I surround myself with media and all that jazz. So stay tuned and keep up with the timestamps if you want to skip through and follow along with specific points of the story. So I feel like there needs to be a little bit of context before I fully jump into why I ended up deleting and leaving social media. So it really did start all the way back in like middle school, which I know for some Gen Zers seems like a little late in the game, but that's when social media started. MySpace was the first social media platform that I was introduced to. I didn't actually have a MySpace until a little bit afterwards. I was pretty involved to the point where I was creating like HTML for like my family members, my cousins, my sisters, and there was like a whole like dedication to MySpace and that kind of like creative aspect of MySpace really inspired me and really pushed me to dedicate a lot of time to my Tumblr. I was so into my Tumblr page. I was really into creating multiple Tumblr pages at the time. So I was not only managing like my own personal one, but I was also managing several other niche Tumblrs, which sounds insane to say, but it's kind of like if you ran multiple Instagram accounts, but if they were all really dedicated to like very different things. Super random example, but I had like a Tumblr page, for instance, related to like One Direction. So now you see a lot of like Twitter profiles, Instagram profiles dedicated to One Direction. Back in the day, it was like Tumblr pages. It was extensive long form content in the form of stories, in the form of pictures, video diaries. Like there was so much Tumblr had, and I remember just being completely enthralled in the space. So I was very deeply into Tumblr. Not only so, but I also had a lot of anonymity when it came to Tumblr, so that gave me a huge space to kind of move without really having the retaliation of judgment, which is what I liked about Tumblr and what I feel like was really the main reason I really thrived in that space. Eventually other spaces like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter came upon, and I got accounts when I did, and those ended up being really 3 big platforms that determined a lot of what I ended up doing in college. Reason being is at some point in college, I decided I think this is what I want to make a career out of. At some point I had decided I think I want to do like communications for like a government official or like a private business or a nonprofit. I decided at some point that this is like what I wanted to dedicate my life to, and I wanted to get really good at these spaces. And I just became so obsessed to the point where I was so reliant on views and likes, and I wasn't even a content creator. I was just a regular person going about their daily life, but I assigned so much of my worth to the content and the comments and what they were saying and who was looking at it and the analytics of it. My brain just, it breaks down this information in like interesting ways, and I would like assume people disliked me or people didn't want to be seen with me based on like how they interacted with my social media space. Like I would go far out into the deep end based on how others interacted with my social media, and I would even do the same in return. And I think that's when the space started getting really negative for me, and I realized towards the end of like my college career just how negative and unhealthy that relationship was, and how I just didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And at that point I had decided that my career was no longer going to be taking that turn towards the communications route, and I was doing like a completely different thing. And I think that's when I decided, this is it. Like, this is my chance to like remove myself completely and really take the time to think about, who am I when no one is telling me who I am and what I should like and what I should eat and what's cool to wear? Like, in the spaces where there is just complete silence, what does that look like for me? And I really took it seriously, removed most social media apps from my phone, and it was the beginning of a very interesting journey. So the first thing I remember doing is deleting Snapchat off my phone, just all the apps, deleting Instagram, Facebook. My accounts were still active, like I didn't delete my accounts, but I did just delete them off my phone. And if I ever in any instance needed to actually like go on for information regarding like work stuff, or like friends inviting me to like events and stuff, or friends inviting me to like Zoom meetings via social media, I would open it up on like my Internet Explorer. So I would still do that, but just my presence was a lot more intentional. I was on social media to obtain certain information that I needed to do XYZ and then leave. I didn't linger. I didn't try. I even went as far as just removing LinkedIn from my phone, because LinkedIn is kind of becoming a different kind of social media space, and it was not making me feel like great, so I took it out. Social media had me believing for the longest time that if I wasn't always productive, that if I wasn't always achieving something, that if I wasn't reaching the next milestone in my life, that I simply was not living, that I wasn't alive. And I think that is not correct. That is not correct. When I left, I felt so lonely at first. And the only thing I really had left on my phone that kind of connected me to others was my text messages, my phone calls, my Spotify account. I kept my YouTube app on my phone just because I used it just to watch like educational content or just like fun content. In that silence, I think the biggest takeaway was no one really cares. But I don't mean that to say it's negative. I mean that to say, like, literally live your life and be present and take in every single experience you have. I remember so many times in the very beginning wanting to take pictures of things and of like experiences, thinking like, oh, I have to share this on my Instagram. I have to share this work achievement on my LinkedIn. And I didn't. And it was kind of cool to just keep it to myself. And I have a camera roll of all these pictures of my cat and like of places that I've been to, of books that I've read with really cute coffee next to it. I have all these great pictures that I could look back on my camera roll that are just for me and for my own memory. And I don't regret it a single day. I've been able to discover so much about myself that I disliked and I liked and I wanted to improve on, and I truly was able to look internally and feel. I think for a long time I used social media as a space to reject so many of my emotions and push away experiences and traumas that I needed to face head on. In some way, it was a distraction from a world that I was currently living, because I was creating a second experience and a second character that wasn't truly myself. It's wild to think that it really just started with a small social media profile in like middle school, and it completely turned into something else that was out of my control. Coming close to turning 25 in like a month, which is insane. because I always thought 25 was like a really big number because you're like at a quarter of your life, but it really is just the beginning of something that I have no clue what will look like in a couple of years, and it's just really exciting. And leaving social media really has helped me regain a new perspective on life. It helped me regain a new perspective on what is possible and what I'm capable of, and it helped me remember so many things I used to enjoy when no one else was watching. I remember when I was really young, in like elementary school, early parts of middle school, making videos with my sisters, making like movies with my sisters, and we didn't even have an actual camera. I was using like a piece of paper, and I remember how much I used to enjoy that. I used to wait on my like computer, waiting for my dad to get off the phone to watch a 5-minute YouTube video load for 20 minutes and watch it over and over and over again. Like, my genuine love and enjoyment for YouTube runs really deep into my past, and it's something that I've wanted to do for so long. So towards the end of my social media, I guess, disappearance, I don't even want to call it disappearance, I guess my social media distancing, I came to the conclusion that, you know what, this is my life and this is what brings me joy, so I'm gonna do it. So on this last part of this video, I want to just go over my advice and my tips for quitting or leaving social media for a period of time, if you're thinking of doing so, and if you think that's something that will positively impact you, or if it's something that you've always wanted to try. There's really no specific timeline as to how short or how long it needs to be. My personal journey just happened to be 2 years. That's just what felt right, and at that 2-year point in time, I felt like it was my time to come back. My first piece of advice is to go on your phone and take off the ability to receive notifications from any app. This includes social medias, but we'll get to that in a bit. I'm talking about every single notification. If you really need to, keep your messages notification on and keep like any reminders or alerts on your calendar on. My second piece of advice is to delete all the applications from your device. Yes, everything. And if you have any accounts like on your computer, log off of all of them. My third piece of advice is, on your computer, on your phone, delete the ability to remember passwords on your specific accounts. Reason being is that it's so easy to just click facebook.com and for your computer to just remember your username and password. Same thing with your phone. If you're logging on through Internet Explorer, it also remembers your username and password and you can quickly log on. You want to basically make it kind of like as hard as possible to log on to those systems and those applications, those accounts. All your pictures will still be there. They're not going anywhere. It makes you like think a little bit longer because it's not as instant to log in. I've recognized with social media in particular, it's really easy to just mindlessly scroll through everything and click everything and not even notice you're doing whatever it is you're doing. So removing the aspect of mindlessness and making it more intentional really helps you rethink, do I really need to get on Instagram? Do I really need to get on Twitter? My fourth piece of advice is, in place of social media, pick up something new. Pick up an old hobby you used to have, or something that really helped me when I was like in the beginning parts of distancing myself from social media, was just focusing on making Spotify playlists. As small as that is, it was fun to just think about, I'm going to make like a road trip playlist for this specific occasion, or I'm going to make my sister a playlist for any specific occasion that she's working on. It still helped me feel like I was interacting with something on my phone, but it felt just like more meaningful in terms of the outcome, because at the end of the day, I got this great playlist that I got to jam out to in my car, or I got to send a thoughtful present in the form of a playlist to like my sisters or my friends. And that's something that I had a lot of fun doing, and now I have a lot of cool playlists for pretty much every occasion in time. This last piece of advice is something that was really cool for me to do, is just write a list of everything that you enjoyed doing as a kid or when you were younger, and re-experience those things if you can. A great example for me was when I was a kid, I really used to like to paint, and I got to just like feel and relive what it was like to live when no one was telling you how to live or what to be. Like, it was just so nice reliving like childhood experiences. I think it was just a fun time. I think I got to like tap into a part of myself that I haven't tapped into a long time because I was suppressing it with trying to be successful, productive, and trying to be what I thought I was supposed to be. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and coming onto my channel. If you have not already, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future video, and like this video if you're enjoying the content. Comment down below if you've ever considered leaving social media for a period of time, or if you're thinking of doing it sometime in the future. Let me know how that goes and keep me updated on how that's going for you. I hope I see y'all again, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye y'all.